Well,
I'm in James's house.
Oh,
Two objects occupy the same space at the same time.
dang.
Welcome back to part 2 of 3 of Great Pendragon Campaign, episode 1. The woman speaks quietly with old Gar, who walks over to her and begins having a very animated conversation. He keeps looking back over at Herawd as if to say something to him, and the woman is just like, "That's not what you told me last week. I thought we agreed that when they came, the house would be theirs." They appear to be having a quiet argument.
Not to interrupt, good sir and lady, but
Yes, of course.
if we're going to be off, we should do it soon while there's still daylight.
This woman, who is somewhat younger than he is, grabs his hand and makes a silent plea with him, and he says, "Begone, woman. I have to be about this business. You don't write the Earl of the County and ask him for help and then turn away his servants when they arrive. Now, don't worry, tonight I'll get a nice bottle of something French, and the two of us will spend time in the house together. You know, I have to go." Herawd, yes, I would like to be of help to you on your hunt, and I agree that I can help you rouse the men. They may seem like drunken layabouts, but I assure you that they are strong laborers, and we are a village that, lives on the west side of Salisbury in the forest. It's not like we are strangers to a hunt. That said, I don't suppose any of you brought an extra horse for me.
Sadly, no. Did not realize that.
You may ride at the back of my horse if you like.
I'll help lead the foot group.
Well,
I
Kendric,
wouldn't.
by the honor of your victory, you have the final say on how we do this.
That's true. It would be good to have someone experienced with hunting in both groups.
I'm sorry, both groups?
Myself and the squires here, and then with the villagers as well.
We will follow your orders.
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Yes. It will be one group, and you will be in charge of it, from what I'm sensing. I'm good at reading the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the methodology here to have a group that harries the prey into the arms of the group.
Still one group. We're all working together.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure you understood. We're beneath you. We are going to do what you say.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So it sounds like he's trying to avoid liability.
He is trying to avoid liability. You literally just caught him holding hands with a woman.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not that any of us care.
Yeah, I admit, priest, that you have changed my expectations of what the Christ God demands of his clergy.
Shall we set off
he
then?
stands like this, and it looks like he's going to say something to you, and he just freezes. It says nothing, and then he says, "Yes, the hunt. We should get back to that. It's good spring weather for a hunt."
Good to work up a sweat.
Let me see here. I need to.
It should make tonight all the more fun as I clap him on the shoulder.
Yes, that's right. You're all lustful pagans.
Kendric just laughs.
You know what, Owain? Why don't you just go ahead and take a check mark in lustful? I'm gonna give it to you for the memes. As you're making your way across the village again to get started for the hunt, you can hear several people getting ready. They are glad that old Gar is involved. They were worried that maybe he was getting a little old for this. He seems to impress several of them with fairly broken Latin. I think one of you speaks Latin, correct?
I do. Yes, I have 10 points in Latin.
Good, good lord! All right, so
I think we all speak Latin. He can read and write Latin.
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Your understanding of Old Gar's command of Latin as a language is that if that is what language he uses to communicate with the castle, he may actually be illiterate. His ability to conjugate things is bad. His quotation of Bible, you are not a studier of the Bible yourself, perhaps, but
No.
you're pretty sure that he is definitely misremembering or miscommunicating several Bible proverbs about lazy asses.
We got Corpo Christi. He hands out the wafer.
None of the priests that he ordains are legal because he says we.
Kendric, are you going to be making the hunting rolls?
I would think so.
Very well. It is spring, which means you have 8 hours to hunt normally. That said,
Okay.
you have arrived at midday, which means you only have 4 hours to hunt.
Okay.
You can see that there is also a hunting track. I'm going to see if I can get this beautiful thing that I designed to show the audience.
I've never used this system before, so I'm excited to see how this works.
It is too big to show the audience. But as you make your way across the hunting track by getting successes like this, that's not an arrow. But as you make your way across that hunting track, you will, when you reach the end, you start avoidance, surprise attack, and the rush, which are all things that happen either to the target or to the knights as you are about to engage. So reaching the end starts things off, but if the animal rolls avoidance successfully, you have to start at the beginning again.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because you don't have a horse, Old Gar is not able to help you with this.
What day of the week is it?
You know, let's say it's a nice Wotan's day.
Okay, so I still have my 5 hit point loss. Got it.
Yes, it's only been 1 day.
Well, the rules are you roll for, or you get healing every Sunday, even, and it specifically says in the book,
Yes.
even if you're injured on Saturday,
Yes.
you heal on Sunday.
Well, if the hunt goes on long enough, you may heal. On the other hand, if the hunt goes on long enough, you may never become knights.
Fair enough.
Right. So hunting.
Let's talk about this forest first.
Okay.
There
Is it
is.
deciduous?
Sorry?
Is it deciduous?
As in not evergreen, then yes. It's got a sort of cool, damp feel to it. Sunlight dapples the area. It is, however, rolling hills, and the soil is quite hard, which is good for the horses. It is, bad for the crops. There are small game about. Perhaps you don't spot any, but the evidence of rabbit passings, foxes, perhaps even signs of wild dogs or a solo wolf are easily visible just even immediately outside the village. You can hear the men
as a
saying,
falconer, I'd probably notice the small game.
yeah. You hear the men saying, they're not exactly mocking you, but they are discussing your group, and one of them says, I bet they think they have this place mapped. You see a forest this big, there is no map. There's just an ocean of tree between one village and the next. And someone nearby is like, you're too drunk, be quiet, and enjoy good times, okay? This is certainly a lot more fun than here in a field. There is still some drink being passed around as the men, like their dogs, are eager to get started with chasing things around the forest and killing them.
Does this count as our home county?
It does. You are in Salisbury, so you do get the Salisbury bonus.
Yeah, +1 hunting roll.
Which is what?
+5 in hunting rolls.
Okay.
And we don't have the penalty for not having dogs. So.
All right. So Kendric says, "All right, men, let's move out. Spread out. Align, through the woods. Let's find this bear."
Make your hunting roll, sir.
Oof.
It's not a good start.
Nope.
Not a good start. 17.
Did you put your +5 on?
I did.
Okay.
Just roll badly.
I would like you to roll a d20, please.
Another 17.
Make an awareness roll.
Okay.
A spoon?
Yes, just Kendric. The Hunt Master. Okay. There is an animal growling nearby. Before you are distracted into thinking it's the bear, you do notice that it is a fox and you don't follow it. Therefore,
Okay.
you don't suffer any penalty.
Okay.
We move one track closer to the end of the day. Now, at
And no
any
problem.
time, you can have someone else lead the hunt.
Okay.
You'll still be in charge, but you let them make the rolls as they are the hunt master.
I will call out to Old Gar and I'll say, what do you see, Old Gar?
Olgar cannot lead the hunt himself. He does not have a horse.
Because he does not have a horse. Okay, well, then I.
He tells you what he
continue leading the
sees,
hunt.
though.
Yeah.
He says, "The vision's not as good as it used to be, Kendric, but I think I see the signs of the bear. Over here. Look. Fumits." And he leans down and he points to just a giant pile of, like, reddish brown soil, and one of the men nearby gets down and, like, licks it and goes, "Yep, that's bear faces for sure. I know that taste." He washes it down with another
Disgusting.
swig of the drink.
Yeah, just wait until King Pellinol turns up.
Oh boy.
Old King Pelly. For the folks
All
at home, tasting fumets was totally normal at this time. Also,
Yeah.
a great way to get parasites.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It remains to this day a great way to get parasites. It's just
yeah. That has no change.
not as commonly done though.
Yeah. So that is a successful hunting roll on this one.
Your pursuit marker moves one box ahead. You now have one
Excellent.
success.
Excellent.
You are on the track of the bear. Please go again.
Do we move one space closer on the sun?
Yes.
Thing though?
Yep. To mark that you've passed another hour. Okay.
That is another. So if we stop for the day, or if we run out of
It
time,
resets the hunting
it
track.
resets the hunt track.
I think
Okay.
I've moved you one too many. You've only done 3 hunting rolls, so you get one more. If you get a critical, you might be able to.
No.
Fail.
Roll a d20.
15.
Make an awareness roll.
Okay.
Success.
Kendric, you believe you are on the path of the bear. You begin picking up speed. It is the worst possible terrain to be hunting on a horse.
Mhm.
It is almost nighttime. It is rolling hills in a forest,
Yeah.
a thick forest, and your horse falls in a ditch. You
Even
are
though I-
on the
even though I
horse as it
succeeded?
goes down. The two of you, neither of you are particularly hurt. Your horse is not like injured. Its leg doesn't break, but you look quite foolish.
Yeah.
If you were to make another horsemanship roll this day, you would get a -5 on it.
Gotcha.
But you do not.
Yeah, and I think it's beginning to be dusk. It's probably fairly dark in the forest. Like I can just say, we'll that'll be it for tonight. We'll start bright and early tomorrow morning.
Okay.
What would it take denarii-wise to like buy ale for all the men who joined the hunt this night?
Again, it's probably a negligible amount for you. You could easily spread that cheddar around. The problem instead is availability of alcohol here. I would like you to make, it's either called worldly.
I'm going on generous as well here.
You know what? I'm going to give you, if you succeed at this, I'll give you a check in I'll give you an ability to check generous, but I actually would like a indulgent roll to see if you can find enough people who have the alcohol and are willing to sell it to you.
No.
You spread a little cheddar around. You get some alcohol flowing, but not everyone gets a drink because, simply put, you've seen this before as a squire. No one wants to show you the place that they keep their coins and their alcohol because they don't want you taking that news back to any taxman. It's a little insular hunting community here. They don't have a lot to begin with. Old Gar, you're worried he might die overnight, given the sounds that you're hearing. He keeps calling out for the Lord. He appears to be living in sin with his mistress despite being a priest, but the local area doesn't seem particularly Christian to begin with. So
yeah, I was going to say probably most of the small folk here are still pagan.
Yeah.
So Herawd has 15 first aid, so I'm pretty sure he knows that no harm is coming to Old Gar.
No harm is coming. The French would call it le petit de mort, I believe. Little death. But, Kendric, everyone is considerably more sober, both in terms of attitude and status of health when they arrive the next morning. The peasantry is ready to go by the time the light of the sun hits the forest. How about the three of you? Are you waking up before the sun rises to be ready for this hunt?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
We've got a job to do, so.
Yep.
I would like all of you to check energetic if you haven't already. Although Herawd has, so he's good. He's very energetic. Very pagan. Kendric, Huntmaster, make some choices here.
All right.
So if I can suggest, because you are leading the hunt,
Yes.
that potentially this, we're doing this to prove ourselves to our Lord. This, if you would impassion, it could be a loyalty Lord.
Yes.
Thing to consider.
That's a good point. Do we know that the feast is in however many days?
You're not sure how far away a feast is.
Gotcha.
You do know it would be better to finish this
sooner. Okay. Yeah.
You do know that if you are to be knighted, it would be good to get it done before the Pentecostal feast.
Okay.
Which is in less than 50 days.
Okay. Yeah, I will go ahead and test my loyalty Lord to try and get this finished up for Earl Roderick sooner rather than later.
Very well. Dangerous, but successful on a 12.
All right. So that actually, with the county bonus, that bumps me up to...
Old Gar is going to give you a +5 hunting skill modifier.
Okay.
Now. That'll be +15.
Mm-hmm.
He is, and this is just on the first roll, showing you the track of the bear.
Gotcha.
That is a success.
Yep.
So you are on the track.
All right. So just on the first roll, so now it drops back down to a +10.
Oh, is it plus 10 now? Okay, good. Only get
Yeah,
the
just
bonus
plus
on-
10,
on-
but you're
just got on
successful
so
again?
still a success.
You move ahead. Going into the third hour.
Another success.
It's interesting because now you're so good you can't fail.
Yeah. Well, with now that I'm inspired by my loyalty to Earl Roderick and the glory that bringing this bear to the feasting table.
You're at 4
will
of
win
6
us.
successes. Good.
No. Last one. Success.
Okay, go ahead and check your hunting.
Okay.
By the 6th hour, you have found the bear.
And
Let's
now
see.
it rolls. It what?
It rolls
avoidance.
its avoidance, and you all make a hunting roll versus its avoidance.
All of us?
Yes, all of you make it. This is to arrive on time
Nope.
to face down the bear. It succeeds.
I also succeed.
Kendric
fail.
arrives on time. I need... Let's see, hunters. Oh no, this might not be so good for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, James, you didn't add your +5.
Oh, I didn't have my plus
You'd
5.
still fail.
Yeah, okay.
I need the 2 who failed to roll a d20.
9.
7.
You both flush birds out from underfoot. The next time I ask you to make an awareness roll on this hunt, you will have a -5 to it. And
Okay.
if the 2 of you want to rejoin this battle, you will need to make an independent hunting roll.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might be messing this up. Hold on. I got confused about the rules. Okay. The avoidance. You were unsuccessful with avoidance. I think that you are delayed in arrival then? Let's see here. During each session of the hunt, the quarry makes an avoidance roll. Again, well, in this hunt, it's only at the end. Once a hunter catches up to the prey, use the following formula to see how close the hunter and his retinue can get to the quarry for the first melee round of combat.
So we're Spoon's
Yes.
retinue, aren't we?
You are in his retinue. Spoon, what is your hunting value? Not your modified, your
10.
actual skill value.
10 is my skill value.
6 plus 10 minus 10. You all will start on horse 5 yards away. You've caught up to the quarry. The first hunter on scene, which is Kendric, may make one free attack, assuming that you can close to melee distance of 1 yard, or you can use a melee weapon. I'm sorry, a ranged weapon. If you'd like to shoot with the bow horseback.
Or throw a spear.
Yeah. Can I close and use my lance?
Absolutely. I'll need you to make a horsemanship roll to do
Okay.
so.
Am I still inspired?
Yes.
So inspiration only applies to one skill, though,
To one
doesn't it?
skill?
Oh,
Okay.
one skill at a
Yeah,
time.
so,
now.
so you're still inspired if you're rolling hunting, but you're not rolling hunting now.
Gotcha. What is a failure of horsemanship?
And then we have to do the surprise attack. We've done avoidance. We do surprise attack now. So you roll your still boosted. Oh, you roll your
Hunting.
combat skill versus the praise avoidance. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Sorry, it's been a really long time. Wait, I rolled a d10. Now that I'm rolling, I'm the one making the. Okay, no, I fell really badly.
And I succeed with
7.
lance.
You are a success. You deal normal damage in the first round. Very well.
Don't you also get +5 for being last against a unmounted foe, don't you? Or does a bear count that out?
Bear does not do that. You get +5 -5 on your attack.
Okay.
So I'm rolling my charger damage, or my I'm sorry, it'd be round C damage, right?
Yes, you're charging round C damage,
Which I believe is a 46.
Where are
13 versus the bear. Very well. Okay, so the bear is not mortally wounded.
He's just
As
pissed
many
off.
as 3 characters with melee weapons may attempt to make another attack, if possible. So, it's still a rush. Herawd and Owain, whichever one of you wants to go first, you can also join in this fight, even though you failed the avoidance earlier.
Is it only a charge, like a horse charge in? Because we're going to cover the 5 yards?
No. Because it's the rush, it doesn't have to be a charge.
Okay, so I can just go in with the sword then?
Yes.
Right.
It just says with melee weapons.
Okay. I will try hitting it with a sword then.
Very well.
I forgot that we weren't riding our chargers and went, oh, I'll get an extra D6 of damage.
The bear fears avoidance. So your attack.
I critically hit.
Ooh, nice.
Let's do it. Let's go.
39.
Jesus. All right.
That's a good roll too, actually, looking at those dice.
And I believe that also means you check your sword.
Yes, a critical does mean you check your sword.
Before I wreck my sword.
The bear is actually still alive,
Oh wow.
and it needs to check for knockdown. You don't, even with that much damage, you still don't actually knock it down in one hit. 13 versus, no, it's still standing. Herawd.
I will attack with my lance, and I do have my charger. I did say.
You've been perfectly queued up for this. This thing is majorly wounded. Ooh, it rolled a 4 on avoidance. That's good.
Oh.
He Vagon drifts past your.
I don't get any bonuses.
You get a plus. You get the +5 for being mounted.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case,
That would be a hit.
I'd
then?
be rolling. That would be a hit then.
Yes. If you want to be charging in on this, then yes. Very well.
Okay.
Go ahead. Roll damage.
What
So
is
it's
the damage
66 for a charger.
66?
That's 66.
Yeah.
17.
You all rush the bear. In its ferocity, this bear, this old, huge bear, looks like it could rip a man apart. And instead, he is felled as the lance of Herawd tears into him. Now, your lance strike was an even number, so it does not break, I believe.
That's correct.
Correct. Your lance remains intact. The bear, the man-killing bear, is dead.
That deserves a hup huzzah, I think.
I think the villagers do give you a hup huzzah, but it's mostly for Old Gar. All of you get 10 glory. Herawd,
Nice.
you get another 10 glory.
Excellent.
Do I double my glory for a crit?
That's a good try. No.
Like, that's how it works in battle, but it's different.
This is not battle. This is something.
Yeah.
It's Vagon Drift, my friend. What will you do with the bear, Kendric?
Skin
I see.
and skin and butcher.
Fortunately, the men here know how to do their business. This is their business.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get a check-in? Oh, I already had a check-in lance anyway.
Yes.
Never mind.
You're correct, though.
no.
You would get a check if you didn't
Well,
already have one.
What he because he didn't crit. Though.
It was a finishing blow.
I didn't crit,
It was
but I
a
got the
finishing
finishing
blow.
blow.
Okay.
It was a significant effort.
Gotcha.
They ask you what you want to do with the pelt and the meat.
Well, it's the Lord wants it for his feast, so
Yeah, the meat will be taken to Sarum for smoked or whatever, and taken to Sarum for a feast.
Are there cuts that wouldn't normally make it onto a Lord's table that we can give to the that we can give to the peasants?
In the American South, we would call that scrapple.
Yeah, well, it's the offal, basically. Yeah.
Yes, the offal. It will be good eating tonight in this particular village, as it is combined with local oats and such in order to make a somewhat richer porridge than normal.
And then tan the hide.
I mean, they'll start tanning the hide for you, and they will send it to Pitton. When
We definitely want to keep the head for the Lord's table as well.
Oh, man of culture, I see. Very well.
Yes.
Each of you will also gain another 6 points of glory for having taken place in a unchaperoned hunt. Let's see here. You don't want them to make the hide into anything specific now. You'll do that back home.
Yeah, I will do that. I will do that later.
All right. What would you like to do? It is 2 hours remaining. Well, with all of the cutting up of the beasts and such, it's unlikely you'd be able to head back.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're gonna. Well, at least Kendric is gonna, party it up. Tonight.
Party it up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very well.
Like it's $4.99.
Yeah.
It goes well here on the hunt, actually. People are glad to have another reason to celebrate. Some of the men are definitely complaining quietly, where they think most of you can't hear that, of course, they have to get back to work now. It's time to do business. The fields need to be tilled. The crop needs to be rotated to the second field. But overall, people are glad that they aren't going to be eaten by the very real man-eating bear that actually definitely existed. Which was, of course, there was some question as to whether it did or not.
Brothers, the hunt was yours, Kendric, and obviously the kill was yours, Herawd, but could I suggest that the three of us, if we each claim a single claw, maybe if you want to keep the front paws intact from the hind claws and have those as a necklace to mark our first rite of passage together? A shared fetish?
I think that is a excellent idea, Owain.
Agreed.
Old Gar wanders to sit with the three of you, and he says, "Do you mind if I take a seat around your fire?"
Please do.
Not at all, good sir.
Not that you care,
Thank you
but
for your...
of course the grace of God go with you, and he flicks some of his beer at each of your foreheads. You have done well for the people of Ember, and I'm greatly appreciative.
Thank you and your people for the assistance on the hunt.
I will mark your names. I think that perhaps there may be 3 new knights in Salisbury ere quite soon.
Ember is in good keeping with a man like you in your position.
He doesn't say it, but he disagrees with you and is actually struggling not to laugh. Ember is definitely Ember, for sure.
It might be a little rough around the edges, but some folk like it that way.
There are not many who could hunt like you do, Kendric.
Well, as I said, it is a something I have experience with, and I enjoy it.
I expect it would not be hard for you to get your lord's permission to return here every year. Imber might welcome such a fellowship amongst it again. Perhaps not for a man-eating bear, but there's plenty of game around here if you want good eats, good competition, and mediocre drink.
Yes. Perhaps a stag or two in the next few years.
Perhaps indeed.
And of course, if you and your lady are ever traveling through Shrewton, then
lady,
your hospitality is offered to you. And the walls in Shrewton are thick.
I happen to know the priest of Shrewton, actually. Father Brugan. I'm not certain it would be wise for me to travel with my lady. That said, try some of this. We call it the Wild Dance. It's terrible. He pulls out what seems to be a combination of maybe beer and like a thick porridge with like bear jerky in it. Some of that smoked meat from earlier. Awful.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you have. This is what you get when you only have one bowl for your food and your drink.
He passes around 3 bowls and he dips like a hard cracker into his to like scoop the porridge and the meat into his mouth. He says, bitter, bitter. Put hair on your chest.
Well,
Kendric will follow suit.
Yeah, at least we feel better than the bear does.
I think with that, we see the rising of embers from the crackling fire, and we cut to the next morning. How drunk are any of you still?
I think Kendrick's definitely hungover. Like I don't know that he's still drunk.
Not still drunk, but probably hungover.
Yeah, I think that I don't overly partake, or it's like it's not great quality, but we've got a bit to celebrate, so those things balance out.
Very well. Kendric, what would you like to do?
Well, let's pack up the meat that's ready to go, and then head back to Vagon.
Very well. The 3 of you set out in the morning, perhaps not as early as you set out for the hunt, and begin the ride over the rolling hills of southern England, out of the forest and back towards Salisbury, down the main. Along the way, slightly before noon, you see 3 men beating up a farmer and taking his cows. The farmer cries out to you, Herawd, and says, "Herawd, please! I know you! Oh, God! My shoulder! Oh, please! Someone!"
Does Herawd recognize this farmer?
How much does Herawd know local farmers of Salisbury?
Probably not that much.
He knows your name. You don't recognize him. You've seen plenty of guys like him. Most of them aren't lying on the ground on their stomach with their arms being twisted, but the 3 men are definitely punching and kicking him quite a bit.
Are the belligerents dressed like knights though at all, or are they?
No. They appear to be perhaps even simpler peasants than him, with like tunics with the sleeves cut off. Maybe some leather padding on their pants, but overall they look like day workers as much as this farmer does.
Are we actually in Herawd's lands?
No. You are along the Salisbury Main. It's county lands.
I mean, I don't think any of this really matters to Kendric. He will call out for and say, "Unhand that man."
What passes here?
The three men stop. The one that is like one hand on a cow, one foot on the back of the guy's neck goes, "Oh, look, a bunch of fancy princes show up. We're taxmen for Somerset, the Somerset Strikers. This man didn't pay before passing through our glorious lord's domain. We've simply come here to collect." And as he says that, he's like sticking the back of his heel and grinding it into the guy's spinal column.
And who is your lord?
The three of them look at each other, and one of them says, "Lord Uther, of course."
I think
Lord Uther Pendragon.
Yes, you know him. Yes, that's the one.
So you would carry some writ to recognize your authority then?
He's very powerful. We don't need a writ.
I think Kendric draws his sword and says, "This foolishness ends now."
Yeah.
Are you
like
dismounting or are you charging upon your horse with it?
I'm riding up on him on the horse, man.
Okay.
Dismounting. Please.
Owain, Herawd?
Yeah, they're clearly robbers, so they get what robbers get.
Absolutely.
Very well. We'll go in that order then. Kendric.
All right. Close to melee and
You're
sword
making a sword charge in the process?
Yep.
Okay.
Do I get
plus 5 mounted against unmounted foes?
Yes,
Yep.
and they do not get... they get the -5 for...
so that will be a success.
Let's see.
I mean, I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Hold
A 14's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
My man's daggering, my friend, daggering. That is a fail. A 21, you say?
Yes.
1 point of armor. Sorry, 4 points of armor. That's 17 damage, which is more than enough to deal a major wound and more than their knockdown, but not twice their knockdown. So they test for knockdown right now, correct?
Yeah, they would test dexterity.
Their dex.
Dexterity.
Yeah.
They succeed with a 1.
Ooh, nice.
He's not knocked down, but he does take a major wound. Your sword. Let's talk about your style. I think this is the first time we're seeing you fight sword style in like lethal combat. So let's talk about how you batter this man's dagger away from him.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kendric's style is it's not very refined, but it is brutally effective, as he is a very big man and he's very strong. And so I don't even think he gives credence to the knife to try and knock it aside. He just powers through it.
Against you, Owain, your bandit will attempt to call upon a passion, Hatred Knights, to which he is critically successful.
Ooh.
Does he get plus 10 with his dagger then?
He does, which is good because he still gets a -5.
All right, so I'm going with my sword as well. So,
that is still a fail.
Okay, well, so I succeeded. Then, so
Your
I'll
success. Yep.
Yeah. I think that with guys like these, I'm not using any particular style. I'm coming in for stabs, basically.
Okay.
They have light armor. Only 11 though.
You get past the armor, but it's not enough to knock him down. Not enough to do that major wound.
Yeah.
Herawd.
Herawd will also come on in. With the
So
sword.
close to a critical dagger, and I rolled over.
Oh!
That said, you have also failed. You both failed. I don't know if sword does something in this instance.
No, sword breaks a tie.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes.
So you just both missed. That's
I know
it.
that swords have dark magic that makes them the greatest weapon. All right, so both of you miss. Kendric, the guy that you are fighting, looks at you for a moment and then falls down and collapses.
Is he unconscious?
On the farmer. He's bleeding to death on the farmer.
Okay.
He's a soccer player. He's just.
He's, trying for the penalty. Okay, and so
You are close enough
still,
that you can reach either of the other two targets.
Is it Howard or Herawd?
So normally I think in Pendragon combat, everybody declares their targets before anybody rolls, because if Spoon picks one of our targets and so do we, then that guy has to decide how he splits his dice roll between the two opponents.
Yeah. I will come to Howard's assistance in this round.
Okay. Owain, let's do yours then, since your guy doesn't have to split. He's just going to Super Saiyan.
And he's still the guy who is impassioned.
Yes.
I forgot about that. But...
That is a success, but not a critical.
Oh, so I forgot my 5, so I've got an 18 under 20.
Then, as a result, you win because you roll much higher than he does.
That's right. Yeah. So, but not critical, obviously. So he will instead take. Oh well, I have my good damage roll up front.
Yeah.
It's another 10 points.
That's still pretty good, though.
It is not enough to give him a major wound yet.
So how close is he to unconscious, though?
Pretty close. So your first hit was 7. Your second hit was 10.
So he's taken 17. So
he's still not unconscious.
Okay, which is at one when you've got 1/4 of your wounds left. You're unconscious.
So how is our opponent splitting his
He's going to put
skill?
1 to Kendric and 2 to Herawd. So if he hits a 1, he will succeed against Kendric. No, and he hits a 2. Nope. Okay, so you guys are going to cut him apart unless you both... Okay, no, he's smoked. Go ahead. Yep, it's simultaneous strikes that kill him, for sure. He's...
28.
Wow. You're a big guy.
So you don't get
60.
Yeah,
you don't get charge damage for this. You just get your regular damage.
Yeah,
so you're not charging anymore, right? You're now like your horse is up against him and you're stabbing down.
Actually, I think. Yeah. Okay. So you can actually just roll. So in the attributes section, you have a damage thing that you can just roll.
Yeah.
In the attributes section.
Yeah, top of the character.
Okay. Damage. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Owain.
All right.
The man in front of you looks as if he should surrender, and then he looks at you on your horseback, and he grips his dagger so much tighter.
Yeah. Like I really want to offer him mercy, but I don't think it's gonna. I think that Owain works out it's not gonna.
As an impassioned character, he can't back down.
Yeah. So
he will make no attempt to defend himself against Kendric and Herawd. He will simply go all in on Owain.
All right. I crit.
I was about to be like, Kendric just sits back and lets Owain handle this one.
He does not crit. He succeeds, but no critical. So,
when you hit damage, does it give you a choice of crit spin or not?
No, it does not.
Okay, so I'll just do that anyway. 45.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Yes. You mutilate his body in the process. All of you can roll.
I think he gets decapitated. I'm not about the mutilation. He just off his head.
Yeah.
I don't know that decapitation isn't a form of mutilation, but sure. All of you can take a check with swords since you were all using sword and you were all successful in combat. You have 1 unconscious dying bandit. I don't know if you want to do anything with him. The farmer is shocked by the sudden adrenaline rush of violence, the stink of blood and death.
I think Herawd jumps down throws the unconscious bandit on the ground and says, "The king's justice," and slits his throat.
All right. The farmer is like getting to his feet, and he goes, "Yes, the kings, and then he faints and collapses.
I was gonna say he throws up, but yeah. Shall we throw this man over the back of one of these cows and lead them back to the village, or lead them into Vagon?
I mean, this is sort of, to be honest, a bit beneath us. If we can just rouse him, he can get his own.
Fair.
He's not harmed. He's simply just
Overcome.
So,
yes.
1 second. I do need Herawd to roll merciful first. Oh, sorry. I need you to roll cruel first.
Cruel.
To see if you'll execute this guy in cold blood. Yep, you do. You absolutely do. We don't have to retcon anything. You totally burnt.
100%.
Take a check in cruel.
Cruel or arbitrary?
Definitely cruel. You just
Okay.
killed a unconscious man.
And
All right,
no,
let's
isn't, yeah, I suppose, yeah, in terms of...
I mean,
Each
It's weird,
of you...
like some of the things like just versus arbitrary, because like you can say, well, I'm just delivering justice, but I'm delivering it without trial, you know?
yeah,
so-
exactly. So, because yeah, the just thing here is to take him back to the castle and then hang him.
Yes. I mean, it's to the
Like
Lord
he
to dispense
still
justice.
dies.
Yeah.
Well, it's to the to whoever's in charge of this region, basically.
The Lord.
Which would be
Earl Roderick.
But he has meted out that responsibility to Sir Elad, who is the Castellan of Vagon.
Each of you will receive 10 glory for each bandit that you've killed, so 10. And then each of you gets another 10 for being part of this fight, so another 20 glory for this.
All right.
You return to Vagon and to Sir Elid. What would you like to do?
Report our success on the hunt and see if he has anything else for us.
Okay. Do you only talk about the hunt? Do you talk about the people in the village? Do you talk about Old Gar? Maybe Old Gar's mistress? It's okay if you're just talking about the hunt.
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, so just the hunt, and then the bandit encounter on the way back.
Very well.
Because I do want to go back to Ember and do some more hunting.
Very well. Kendric, Herawd, Owain. I think that now is the time for the three of you to go present yourself to the Earl.
Thank you, Sir.
He has ridden here to the great hall of Vagon Castle to meet with you specifically. It is well that you had not taken your time with the bear.
He's ridden here to meet us.
He gestures to the earthen mound upon which a wooden keep juts out, and he go there to meet your, what do you pagans call it? Your word?
Something like that, sir.
Right.
Yeah. Head up to the castle. Up to the
I think we
great
struck.
Yeah.
We're all pagans. We're all proud.
Yeah, going to see the Lord after having been extremely successful.
You are all ushered into the great hall here in Vagon, which is not particularly great, given that Vagon is a small castle, a mere Mott and Bailey. Earl Roderick stops what he's doing, puts some papers aside, pushes himself out of his chair, and rises and says, "Kendric, Herawd, Owain, the three of you returned successful with my meat, I expect."
Of course, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Excellent. Will you ride with me to Sarum?
Of course.
Nothing would please me more.
Good. Well, this will be the last time you pass through the Fool's Gate. Mere squires, I should think. I would knight you myself. I know that you are not Christians, but it is tradition to spend time preparing yourselves on arrival. I can have the White Abbey released of its local brotherhood, or if you have some place within Sarum you would like to prepare yourselves with to fast in contemplation, I will make it so.
I think that there are altars among the villages where we could find a closeness to our deities.
So he goes for the bag of bear meat, which is quite heavy, and he smells like meat that is shit. Can't wait to try some. You know, the people in Ember, they use a special seasoning out there.
Have you been before, my lord?
Many times. I take my progress through the area. You would know that progress is I'm explaining for the audience and for Glimo and for any people who aren't historical knight fans. A progress is essentially the route that a lord follows every year to visit all of their domains. And since he owns all of Salisbury, he has a lot of places he has to visit. So he usually spends more than 16 weeks on the road just traveling from place to place. I think that the scene turns into a montage with a voiceover of Earl Roderick telling you of all of the fun times he's had in Ember, and the just joking with you about the horrific calligraphy of Old Gar. I got his letter. I couldn't understand what he was saying to me. I had to send a runner out to figure out what was going on. I didn't want to insult him, though, so I made sure the runner arrived on a different task. Didn't want him to think that it... Oh, my goodness. The man can't write worse shit. All right, so...
Has the Lord partaken of what was the concoction we got? The black
the wild hunt?
Wild hunt.
Yeah.
He just said... Yeah, so you've encountered it too. Oof. I haven't had anything that bad since Carleone.
It was worse the following morning.
Ooh. Yes, it was. Well, gentlemen, shall we set about seeing to your destiny? I'd like to get back home to my wife. I know it's been a hard day's travel, but shouldn't be far to Sarum. So he begins shouting orders to people. He's like, someone find me Eled. Someone find my daughter. Let's move out, people. We've got a bear to eat. And yeah, we've got a little Earl Roderick here to show you this, let's see, yeah. A friendly fellow.
Strong cheekbones.
Yeah,
one.
strong cheekbones. I think that now is a good time to take our final break here to let the Twitch ads run without interrupting our live audience. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for a knighting ceremony, and maybe a little extra. We will do the leap.
Let's not leap to conclusions.
Yeah.
You Game of Thrones. You just betray everybody in the hall. You just start killing people left and right.
All of a sudden, the Reigns of Castamere begin to play.
That's right.
So.